Hello class. Today we're going to be looking at what we call decimal points, and we're going to learn how to read decimal points, and we're going to learn the place values of decimal points, and we're going to learn it as it relates to money. First, we're going to talk about place values real fast. I'm going to write a number on the board with a decimal point in it, and we're going to go over the place values to get our understanding before we get started. So we have 2,763. The decimal point separates numbers from the right and the left side. So over here we're going to start off with ones in the threes in the one space, 6, tens place, 7 is in the hundred place, and the 2 is in the 2,000. And it's in the thousand place, so that's 2,000. Now that number right there is just a definition to get your understanding that in decimal points there's still place values. But we're going to learn a different rule about the right and the left of the decimal points and fractions of the number. That right there was a little bit bigger of a number to talk about fractions of the number. So I'm going to write this on the board, which is, what is this, class? It's a period or a decimal point. Yes, a decimal point looks exactly like a period. So once we have that understood, when we see this symbol, know that you're dealing with a decimal point or a decimal number. So I'm going to put 0.5 here. And now we want to learn about the places to the right of the decimal. To the right of the decimal, you count one place over there. So that's the tens place. So you have ones, tenths. So this 5 represents 5 tenths. How would you write that, Kamal? Correct, 5 over 10. You also could say that's 5 parts in 10, and you also could say that's 5 tenths. And you also could write it in word form. And that's one place to the right, and we'll do another decimal point, 0.25. That's 2 places to the decimal, from the decimal point to the right. So you go ones, tens, hundreds. So with that you have 25 parts of 100, or you can say 25 parts in 100, or you can say, what, class? Correct, 25 over 100. So that's the fraction of the decimal point. So now that we have that, I'm going to give a number where we have the whole number, and understanding that any number that's less than 1 or a whole number can be written as a decimal fraction. Can be written as a fraction. And I'll start off now. I'm talking about exactly the definition of what a decimal point does. A decimal point separates the whole number to the left of the decimal point and the decimal fractions to the right of the number. And we're going to start off, we're going to add some money up. I know you guys like money, so let's get you guys understanding how to count your money. So $4.50. So let's count the decimal places to the right of this decimal point. 1, 2. So that's 100. So that's 50 parts of 100. 50 parts in 100, or 50 over 100, or just, you can say, 1/2 of 100. And to the left of that, you have what number, Aisha? 4, which represents what, Kamal? A whole number, correct. So 4 is the whole number in this problem. Now, we have an understanding of that. Let's try adding some of these numbers with decimal points, and we'll use money again. $4.50, not the wrapper, but the money, and $1.4. I threw a monkey wrench in there. So, how will we add this up? Jamal, you say just put the 1 and the 4 next to the 50 because it's two places, two numbers? No, you're forgetting one thing that's very important, the decimal point. So again, let's go over what these decimal points mean. It's separating the whole number to the left and the decimal fraction to the right. So you have to pay attention to it. You can't ignore it. So to the right of this decimal point you have 1, 2, so that's 100. And to the right of this decimal point in the 1.4 you have 1 and no space, nothing there. You could put something there, so we'll say 2, count a place. So, but we'll still need to understand what place is the the 5 and the 4 are the numbers that's right next to the decimal is in. So from the decimal point here is ones, tens, hundred. From the decimal here is ones, tens, hundredths. But go back to the tens. It's the 4. So we'll line up what we call like quantities to do this addition. So we put the like quantities together under each other, and then we'll add them up. So what are the like quantities in this? The tens, correct. So that's the 4 in the tens place and the 5 in the tens place over here. So let's put the 4 here. And now what else should we line up? The whole number, right? We put the whole number here. Did we forget something? Yes, the decimal point. Line up the decimal point. Thank you, Rashida. So we have no number here. So what should we do about that? Yes, we could add a 0, but it's nothing value there. So we can put a 0 there, and it stays nothing value. So let's add this problem up. 0, 0, straight up and down. 5 and 4 and 9. And then 4 and 1 is 5. And where does the decimal place go? Correct. Comes straight down. 590 is the answer to that problem. So we just added up $5.90. That's a nice lot of money when you go into the party store. So we'll look at this and say, let's do a smaller number, or let's just do one more. $2.64 plus $1.04. Again, what will we do? Line up the like quantities. That means numbers that are alike in a problem. Yes, that's exactly what that means, Idris. Quantity means numbers that are alike in the problem. So we'll find here in the tens place here, ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, hundreds. So what was in the hundreds place over here? The 4, correct. We'll put the 4 with this. And the tens place is a 0. And then the decimal point right under the other decimal point. And what's missing? The whole number. So we have $1.04 plus $2.64. How do we add this up? Thank you, Lakeisha. You add the 4, it's 8, the 6, and then you add straight up and down the 3. Omar, what do you do with the decimal point? Correct. Bring it straight down. Great answer. Okay. So today we learned a decimal number when going to the right of the decimal point place value, and when a decimal number when going to the left of the decimal point place values. And we also learned that it's very important to know that the left side is the whole numbers and the right side is the fractions of the number. So when you're looking at the decimal points, also remember, we're going to make sure you line up the like quantities together so you never get cheated out of your money, and you understand how to add with decimal points. Decimal points are a very important symbol. You're going to pay very much attention to it. Never ignore it. It doesn't mean you can just move it out and move it any way you want to. So we also learned how to add money. We learned the like quantities, and we learned the rules. The rules is what? Like quantities and lining up your decimals. Correct. And adding and subtracting, lining up the decimals is very much the easy way of looking at it. But you know, you're not going to always get to use that because you're going to have adding and subtracting, and sometimes when you do multiplication, lining up the decimal points doesn't work. So I want you guys to remember to read decimal points, understand the place values correctly, know the numbers to the right of the decimal points value and to the left of the decimal points place value. So it's very important for you to understand this decimal point. It's going to be a lot of problems involving math and your money that you're going to have to work with. So I want you guys to get your homework out. Start looking at it, going over it. I want to collect your worksheets you did in class today. Aisha, could you collect the worksheets? Thank you. Omar, you mind moving the chairs back in positions before we leave? Yes, you guys take your homework home, and I'll see you guys in next class. Thank you. You guys been a great class. I love you guys. Have a good one.